Good evening. The August 23rd, 2023 regular meeting of the Murrieta Planning Commission is now called to order. Would the secretary call roll for determination of a quorum, please?
Thank you, Chair. Chair Fisher.
Here.
Vice Chair Harlan.
Here.
Commissioner Vrooman.
Here.
Commissioner Wojcik. Commissioner LaPaglia.
Here.
Let the record reflect all members are present with the exception of Commissioner Wojcik.
Let's now move to the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Commissioner Harlan will lead us in the pledge. Thank you, Commissioner Harlan. We'll now be moving on to the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Seeing none,
I'm going to call for a motion and a second to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
Oh, thank you.
The motion has been approved and seconded. May we call for a vote?
Chair Fisher.
Yes?
Vice Chair Harlan.
Aye.
Commissioner Vrooman.
Aye.
Commissioner LaPaglia.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously 4-0.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We are now moving on to the public comments. At this time, we will take public comments. Any person may address the Planning Commission on any subject pertaining to city business which does not relate to any item listed on the agenda or the consent calendar. Normally, no action may be considered or taken by the Planning Commission on any matter not listed on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Madam Secretary, do we have any non-agenda public comments?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have any public comments.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We'll now move on to the public hearing. Development Plan 2021-2343 and Conditional Use Permit 2021-2344, Car Wash. Are there any members of the Planning Commission that wish to abstain or recuse themselves from this item? Seeing none, we'll move on to the staff presentation. Staff, may we have a report?
Thank you, Chair. Tonight with us, we have Farrah Bullock and Associate Planner for the presentation.
Thank you for the introduction, Carl. Good evening, Commissioners and Chair Fisher. So before you this evening is a development plan and conditional use permit for the construction operation of an express car wash facility within the Margaritaville Shopping Center, located at the southwest corner of Murrieta Hot Springs and Margarita Road. The zoning designation for this site is community commercial with a general plan land use designation of commercial. To the north of this project site, you have civic institutional as well as multifamily. South, west, and east of the project site are bordered by commercial properties as well, all of which are community commercial within the Margaritaville Shopping Center. So this is an aerial exhibit before you just to show what the actual image of the existing commercial center looks like. You'll see here the project site is outlined in blue here. What you have here are really 3 vacant pads right now. There's a recently constructed tire store at the southeast corner of that project or the commercial center. A little bit of background information on this project site. So there was an entitlement approved for Margaritaville Shopping Center in 2005, which consisted of a development plan permit, which authorized for 110 square feet of commercial floor area, as well as a subdivision of a commercial parcel map, which authorized for a lot split of 10.9 acres into 7 parcels. Including in that entitlement approval is a variance which authorized for a reduction of a 15-foot landscape planting strip along Murrieta Hot Springs Road, which reduced that to 5 feet. The existing access for this commercial site will remain unchanged with this project proposal. There's currently 3 access points within this project site. As you can see here on the northwest side of the project, or of the shopping center, is Villa Drive. Let me point my cursor there. My cursor's missing. Oh, there it is. Okay. Right here is a signalized full uninterrupted access way off Villa Drive. Secondary access would be Murrieta Hot Springs Road right here, which is restricted to right in, right out only. And Margarita Road is the third access point for this commercial center, which is restricted to left in, right out, and right in turn to this commercial center. So the proposal is for a 3,589 square foot, one-story car wash facility. Seen here, you can see the path of travel that vehicles will enter. So they'll access the site on the southerly parcel, in which they'll queue in this dual queuing lane to proceed to where the point of sale is, and they'll proceed to the car wash tunnel this way on the north end of the facade. They'll exit this way, and they're able to continue to exit out, or if they wish, pull up into one of the vacuum stalls. So part of the project proposal also includes improved landscaping. The project site's proposing 20.3% landscape area within the site, which exceeds the minimum landscape requirement per our development code. In addition to, they're proposing a trash enclosure as well as 16 parking stalls, 13 stalls of which will be equipped with vacuum stanchions, 3 of which will be left out for employee parking or reserved for employee parking, as well as a loading space to support this use. Here is another site plan that shows their proposal. Here are the east and west elevations. As you can see here, they're proposing pitched roof with S-tiles and knee braces. Some of the architectural features incorporated into the building design feature also metal awnings, as well as articulation, both vertical and horizontal, to break up the massing of the plane. All of which are commensurate with the existing buildings within the shopping center. So this design is very consistent with what you're seeing out there. There are a lot of knee braces, S-tile roofs, veneer within the existing structures of that center. As you can see here, there's also the north and south elevation. North is viewable from Murrieta Hot Springs Road. It features sort of an arcade architectural feature here, which is commensurate with what you're seeing in the center. There's a lot of arcades as well articulated in the facade of existing buildings within that center. The color palette is very close to what you'll see within the surrounding site, even for the inline shops as well as the standalone businesses in that center. So this proposal here is in keeping and consistent with the architecture for Margaritaville Shopping Center. Here is an excerpt of the floor plan for their car wash facility. Most of the floor area is dedicated to the car wash tunnel, as well as the equipment room to support that operation. All of the rooms here that you're seeing, restroom, employee lounge, office, and the quarterback area or QB areas shown here on the floor plan are all dedicated for employee use only. The public will not be accessing these rooms as part of the operation. Per the operator or the applicant, the public will only be accessing, will only be getting out of their vehicle to vacuum their vehicles. A little bit of breakdown on the operations proposed. So the hours of operation will be 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. There will be approximately 2 to 3 employees per shift. And the standard cycle time for a car wash from the point of sale to the end of the tunnel through the blowers would be 3 minutes. It's important to note that the project is conditioned to install the same or equivalent equipment analyzed in the noise study to mitigate for the noise impacts that car wash often do have. Staff has the following recommendation. Consider and approve the notice of exemption for infill development, Class 32 infill exemption pursuant to California Code of Regulations, Title 14, Section 15332 of the Guidelines of Implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Murrieta approving the Development Plan Permit 2021-2343 and Conditional Use Permit 2021-2344 for a 3,589 square foot car wash facility with associated improvements located on a 1-acre site within the Margaritaville Shopping Center, APN 913-160-070, based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval in Exhibits A and B and Operation Statement in Exhibit C. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have on this item.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's now time to take questions from the commission members to the staff. Commissioner LaPaglia?
I'll save my questions for after the public and the applicant, if we have any questions for them. Thank you.
Commissioner Varun?
Only one question I saw. The drive aisle between the Sonic and the car wash there, how wide is that?
It's 24 feet wide,
Okay,
a little over 24, 24.29.
perfect. Wow, thank you.
No problem.
Commissioner Harlan?
Thank you for the report. Who owns this property now?
The current owner, I believe, is Salim Development. Give me one moment, let me verify that per the staff report. Newport and Evans LLC is the current owner, I regress.
No problem. And this has been vacant for a while?
It has been.
Has there been any other interest with this site other than a car wash?
Not that I know of recently, no.
So on Murrieta Hot Springs and Jackson, there's signage up there for a Beyond Market. I wasn't part of that when that came across here. Is that going to include a car wash as well?
I'm trying to recall, I think there was a car wash in that one, yeah. There was. At that site up there, yeah. That was before my time as city planner, but I see the previous city planner nodding his head, so, yeah.
Commissioner, on that project Beyond Food Mart, that was a fuel center, a coffee kiosk with a drive-through, and also a car wash. It wasn't of a branding like this. It was one of the normal ones that you would see like near a Chevron, that type of stuff, but just add to the record.
Got it. Okay, thank you. So reading the information that was put forth, right? With the conditional use permit, you know, the objective, right? Confirm that the proposed business will not have a negative impact on the surrounding properties, and weigh the public need for and benefit derived from service against any adverse impacts. And then we're looking at general plan land use 1, right? Complementary balance of land use throughout the community, meets and needs existing businesses and residents, both current and future, growth and community vision. So if I'm a consumer and I'm on Winchester and I'm heading west from Murrieta Hot Springs down to the 15 freeway, I'm going to pass 5 car washes. The Speedway, which I'm going to call it Speedway, but that's that self-serve, a Shell, an AM/PM on the left side, the one on Winco on the right, and a Chevron before I get to the freeway. If I'm on Murrieta Hot Springs and Winchester, so Winchester on Murrieta Hot Springs heading to Alta Murrieta, I'm going to pass the Speedway, the new Superstar that's under construction, the Chevron, the AM/PM McGuire's, the Fast 5, 7-Eleven, the Shell, which is 7, Beyond would be 8, and this would be 9. So we're looking to place a car wash next to an existing car wash that is across the street from another car wash, surrounded by 6 other car washes within a 2-mile radius on the same street. So I guess my question is, when it comes to complementary balance of land use, is there metrics involved other than this 9 to 5 that I'm seeing?
I can take a stab. I mean, I would say from a planning perspective, as far as the city's concerned, we don't regulate most of the uses that are allowed in the commercial zone. So we don't dictate how many fast food joints there can be in a block or a stretch of a road. We don't dictate, how many gas stations there can be. And similarly, we don't regulate car washes to that degree, whether or not there should be a certain number of them or a certain number within a strip. If there's direction to do that, at some point from the city council, that's something we could look into. But at this point, we don't have that direction. So we're doing what the market demands. If people are willing to patronize the car wash and the business is successful, that's allowed pursuant to the code. We don't regulate the number.
So you're speaking of market demands, and I appreciate that. So looking at the traffic study reveals no incremental traffic versus the current general plan studies that's in place, right? So we're going to be adding 2 more car washes to this street. Is there incrementality there?
So,
And maybe the applicant can address that when they go to talk, and/or are we taking that slice of pie and just making it smaller slices?
I would offer, similarly, Commissioner Harlan, to what we talked, I think we spoke about this on a recent project at a previous commission. There's a level of traffic that's assumed with that site because it's a commercial site. So the general plan assumes a level of traffic, whether it be a car wash or another fast food joint or a doctor's office or something there. So there's a level of traffic that's assumed there. This car wash is not going to increase traffic beyond what we would have thought we would get there on that site. It's currently vacant. Obviously, something gets built there, there is new traffic, but if you're looking at it from a general plan traffic perspective, it's within the assumed amount of traffic we would see at that site. But you could ask the applicant about the specific traffic numbers as well.
Then I know we put this out for public comments, the public hearing, the sign, the paper, mailings. Did the other mailings calls for 300 feet from the property, correct?
That is correct.
So with that, that 300 feet, that would cover that shopping center? Would that get the Chevron across the street, the Fast Five up the street? Would it cover those as well? Because it's further than 300 feet.
Yes, and it covers also to the north of the site where there's multifamily as well, across Murrieta Hot Springs Road to the north. And I believe a few of the single-family residences to the south of the Margaritaville Shopping Center, which is a tract just south of that site, were noticed as well, which were covered under the 300-foot radius.
Okay, thank you. I'm good for now. Tell it to the public. Thank you.
Hey, Chair, if I could interject on something, just to kind of expand off Commissioner Harlan's question. This is for staff and maybe yourself, Carl, but out of the staff report here in the conditional use permit, I just want to read a sentence, and maybe you can kind of help me define this. It says, "This review shall determine whether the proposed use should be allowed by weighing the public need for and the benefit delivered from the service against any adverse impacts it may cause." It's under the conditional use permit, I don't know, maybe a couple pages in. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, I understand that, from a business standpoint, it makes sense to make money like building a car wash. But, to Commissioner Harlan's point, there are so many of them. We've approved so many of them. It seems like it's getting saturated. I guess I mean to ask, like, is that any of our business? Do we have any, consideration when it comes to that? I mean, reading it again, it says, whether the proposed use should be allowed by weighing the public need for and the benefit delivered from the service. Again, we have so many of them up and down the road. So how do you define that?
That's kind of the subjective part of the project, yeah. So I don't know that there's a specific definition there. That's part of what you weigh as a decision as a commissioner. You've got a sort of a position from staff that we don't see that that's against our general plan or zoning. But that's something you can weigh as as part of your deliberations and reviewing the item. That's something you can look at. You know, I would say you'd want to take into account what we hear from the public comments that we've gotten, are there issues raised by the public on the project? You know, weigh all of that together. But I would say in general, from staff's review of it, we're not seeing that it's incongruent with what we're looking at in the general plan and zoning.
Okay, and maybe we can ask the applicant to come up later to answer some questions, but that's all I have for now. Thanks, Chair.
Just if I could follow up on that, and thank you, Mr. LaPaglia. We're calling out in the report as a fact, the project site is suitable for a car wash facility, which will not have an adverse impact on neighboring residential use to the north and surrounding commercial uses to the east, west, and south. So if we're saying we're not going to get incremental traffic, then from my lens, the business with the new business is going to come at the expense of the existing businesses up and down the street, right? We're saying that it will not have an adverse impact. Help me understand, is there any metrics or details? What drove that statement?
That statement's driven from adverse impacts when it comes to environmental impacts. Most of our analysis revolve around making sure that the traffic queuing does not impact or harm public safety, as well as impact surrounding businesses. We've reviewed a traffic impact or a traffic letter, as well as a queuing analysis. Our traffic engineer had reviewed that. That was prepared by the applicant's team. We've reviewed a noise study. So those are some things that we look at when we make statements like that in terms of noise impacts, traffic impacts.
Yeah, it's typically, so Commissioner Harlan, that's really more like a CEQA question. So it's related to the questions under CEQA, not necessarily, I don't know if you're getting at the economic impacts to the other car washes out there, but that's not something we would look at in that lens.
Okay, and that's what I was looking at, was the economic
I figured.
impact. Okay, thank you for the clarity.
Can you go back to the beginning where you see where the car wash actually is? Keep going back. There it is. Now, that's a Chevron station right there on the corner to the right on Margarita Road. Is that correct?
Yes, this is a gas station here.
It's a gas station and a car wash, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And then you have the Sonic, which is 2 sites to the left. Is that correct?
Sonic will be directly abutting this project site, so
Okay.
my cursor's where Sonic is.
And then what is the third one over? The second one over from the project site?
Okay, this one here?
Yes.
This one is an inline shop. There's a multi-tenant commercial center.
And that's where the pizza place is, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, Chair. There's a pizza place, there's a barber shop in there as
Okay.
well.
And I believe a spa use as well.
So this is a current empty lot at this point that would need grading?
Yes, that is correct. This site is previously graded. It's important to note that this site is disturbed. This whole site is mass graded and there's improvements there. So currently what's vacant is the project site where my cursor is at parcel 1. This is recently completed and I believe it was finalized not too long ago. We have a dental office coming into this adjacent parcel here. That will soon be under construction. There was a grading permit issued for that recently.
So the project site that you're projecting here is graded?
Yes, it is.
Now, there's also a dental in this next building over behind the project site. There's a dentist and an ice cream place and things like that, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, just so I get a good view of where it's at. The name of this car wash is Quick Quack, is that correct?
Correct. That is the current operator.
Okay, and they have another one over near 215, correct?
Clinton Keith Road, yes.
Clinton Keith Road, that's correct. And this will, it's hard to see it from the other areas, but this will face Margarita Hot Springs Road?
This project site's directly abutting Murrieta Hot Springs Road.
And then a little to the right on Murrieta Hot Springs Road will be the new resort, correct?
To the north of this site is the new resort.
To the right, which is the north, right?
Yes. northeast.
Correct.
if you
It's right
will.
across the light there, up at the top right corner. That's the light going
Where
in.
that round circle is, basically.
Better aerial maybe, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
this area here.
all right. Any other questions from the staff? Okay. It's time now for the applicant to give its presentation. Thank you very much for your presentation. Very good.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Erica Hernandez. I work with Quick Quack. My title with Quick Quack is Pre-Construction Manager. There's a video that I'd like to share first, if that's possible.
You have a 15-minute time limit.
Yes.
Just give us a couple minutes here. We load this up, or I guess 20 seconds.
Okay.
Wash has been one of the largest growing car wash platforms in the United States. Quick Quack is a founder-led, 100% express exterior car wash model, disrupting the car wash industry with a vision to be fast, clean, and loved everywhere. Quick service. Our team members are not only friendly, but skilled at getting customers through quickly, with average transaction times under 30 seconds. From checking the customer in, evaluating their need for a membership, and completing the membership enrollment or transaction, we are fast. Fast lanes. With each location designed for both high quality and high volume, the lines move quickly. 3-minute wash. When a customer enters our showroom, the car will be cleaned, shined, and dried in under 3 minutes. Clean. When your car shines on the outside, we smile on the inside. Clean car guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied, we'll rewash your car on the spot, inside and out. Free vacuums at most locations, and dash wipes help give luster to your car's inside too. Tidy team members and locations. Not only are our locations a source of pride, ensuring a bright, clean, and comfortable environment, our team members present themselves in a clean and tidy way. Each customer is greeted with a smile, clean white shirt and tie, allowing everyone to feel welcomed. Clean and green. We take pride in being environmentally friendly by conserving and recycling the water we use to wash your car. Loved. You love your car. We love helping you look good and making our communities better. Customer love. Everyone loves our adorable mascot, Quackles. Our customers also love our unlimited car wash memberships and free vacuums. Team member love. We invest in the dreams of our team members and teach them life and leadership skills to help them learn and grow, surrounded by a strong culture of smart, kind, and driven people and values. Community love. We partner with schools, community groups, and charitable organizations with creative sponsorships and fundraisers, including more than 330 special fundraisers over the past 5 years. Everywhere. Quick Quack is conveniently located with multiple locations serving our communities, adding even more value to our unlimited car wash memberships. Quick Quack has more than 160 locations in 5 states and growing quickly with dedicated real estate development and construction teams comprised of internal and external experts and processes, allowing us to move faster than the competition. Quick Quack has vertically integrated into proprietary software solutions and digital offerings like license plate recognition, as well as state-of-the-art car wash equipment manufacturing and R&D. We could not be more excited about our future and remain committed to our mission of changing lives for the better and ensuring our customers don't drive dirty.
So my name is Erica, as mentioned. Thank you for your time this evening. Quick Quack Car Wash is a growing chain of exterior-only express car washes developed in 2004. So we're excited on announcing that we're coming to the new location here in Murrieta. I know we have already a car wash in Murrieta, but the demand of our members, that's the reason we're here in this new location. I know there's a PowerPoint as well. I'd like to share the look and renderings that we're coming as a design in our car wash to this location. Why Quick Car Wash? Why Quick Quack? And that's what you're asking. 3 things: fast, We'll get you clean back on the road quickly. Convenience. 3 minutes, that's how long it takes for the car wash to get washed. Fast lines, we have member lanes, and also as stated, we have member lanes that will, get members into our car showroom, and also quick service. Our team members are not only friendly, but skilled in getting customers through quickly. We're clean guaranteed, inside and out your car, tidy locations. We take pride in how our locations look. We just want to let you know that water conservation is our priority. And we also want to minimize on this sound emission. We take that into consideration. We have sound consultants that have provided a sound report for our submittal. And our main goal here is also changing lives for the better. I know that it's a little silly, but we do have that as our concept and our method. Changing lives for the better. As the company continues to grow, the founding partners never lose sight of the Quick Quack mission to change lives for the better. Through their random quick kindness, community fundraisers, and organizations to sponsorship. I know that normally we all think it's just a car wash, but I am happy to represent Quick Quack Car Wash because we give back to the community. It's not just a car wash. And to speak a little bit about the operational process, we have Jason here, if you have any questions.
Jason, if you could identify your Quack.
Absolutely. My name is Jason Sims Pruitt. I am the Director of Operations for both Southern California and Amarillo, Texas. And just to piggyback off of what Erica was saying here, I want to drive the fact that there's a lot of mentions of other car washes. But if we go back to our mission statement, what makes us different, and I truly believe this is why I get up every single day to work with Quick Quack Car Wash, is we do absolutely change lives for the better. I can say for me personally, I've been with the company a little over 3 years. Coming off the back of an interesting career where I've spent time in leadership and most recently in my career spent time in the entertainment industry. 7 years with Nickelodeon, 5 years with Amazon as an actor. And this is what drove me back to the leadership quest. Because I heard a lot of different companies out there that talk about changing lives and being able to impact lives. And this is the one company that was able to pull me from that industry because I truly believed in what they were saying. And I can say and attest as a member of Quick Quack Car Wash that they've touched my life. In the past 3 years that I've been with Quick Quack, I've gone through a lot through COVID. I've lost my father, I've lost my grandfather, I've lost my best friend, and each and every one of those losses, I've been upheld and uplifted by the leadership of Quick Quack, by the CEO of Quick Quack, and by those that I serve. It's been touching, it's been an amazing journey. And so, yes, we are a car wash, but the car wash is simply the vehicle for what we're trying to achieve, which is being able to impact the lives of those around us in our community, but more specifically, the team members and the store leaders and regional leaders that we serve day in and day out by giving them tools to be able to grow, to learn business and development, to get out those things that they're interested in, to be able to navigate throughout an organization has been amazing to witness and to see. And yes, on the car wash operation side, pointing back to when we're talking about water, water's a big issue and big deal, and especially Southern California, and we operate also in Arizona and some of these other drought-prone areas. When we talk about water conservation, we're very proud of what we do. With our reclamation process, we use about 25 to 30 gallons per car at the end of the day when it comes to water. Now, if you compare that to those washing cars in their driveways, and lots of homes popping up in this area, you're looking at anywhere from 80 to 150 gallons. So being able to be good stewards of the environment, also with our soaps and our conditioners being biodegradable and environmentally friendly, we do things the right way. And it all draws back again to our mission of being able to impact lives of those in our community and those that we serve.
Thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to present?
I think there's more slides here. I'd like to share the 3D renderings that we've provided. Obviously, this is a site plan where the location's at. This is a bird's eye view of the entrance to the car wash. Also, the circulation, we can show that on your way in and on your way out. We have the vacuum, 13 vacuums provided. Next slide, please. And we're also, material-wise, and we have a Spanish look. We're also trying to blend into the existing site, showing landscape as well. Next slide, please. And as you can see, we've considered, obviously, landscape and trying to blend in, as stated, to the existing plaza with the stone veneer and the Spanish style, in a sense. That's fine. I went over these slides, so thank you. That's all for now. Do you have any questions?
Time now for our questions from the commissioners to the applicant. Is there questions?
Sure.
Commissioner Paglia?
Yeah, I'll start off. Thanks for the presentation. It's great you guys give back to the community. I do love that. You know, it's something unique. I don't think of any of the car washes that we've had come through here in the last 5 years that I've been on the commission. Anyone gives back to the community quite like you guys do. So thanks for doing that. When you say that the water conservation is 25 to 30 gallons used per car, once that water's used, is it just gone down into the drain, or is it like recycled and reused?
Yes, it's recycled and reused. So we have a trench that all of the runoff goes down the trench, and it goes through a process in our underground tanks where it's starting to get the settlement down to the bottom, get the water to the top, and then pipes back through our showroom where it goes through a reclaim unit. So we're cleaning out the water, getting it all good to use again, and that's how we got down to the 25 to 30. So it's essentially recycled water.
Okay. But it takes 25 gallons per car, which I know is still good. I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. So, okay. For some reason, I thought it was less, but I do, let's see here. Are these the same owner? Is Quick Quash like is it Quick Quack Car Wash? Is it like a corporation, or is it a franchise? Are these individually owned?
Oh, no, it's a LLC corporation.
It is, okay. Is this the same LLC corporation that owns Clinton Keith?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. How long have you guys been working on this particular location, like with the city of Murrieta? Do you know?
I want to say the past 4 months.
4 months, okay.
I'll let Farah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I'd like to clarify that the project applicant is the developer. Initially, we had a different car wash here proposed at this location. It was a different operator. That entitlement came through, the application came through to the planning division in 2021. So it's been in process, or 2022, my apologies. It's been in process for quite some time now. But however, Quick Quack came online, as they mentioned, 4 months ago.
Okay. So it was processed through a different car wash, and then Quick Quack picked it up from there?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I think the design looks great. The rendering that staff showed us earlier, it looked like it had, good tones. You guys are meeting the landscape or exceeding the landscape, requirements, which is great. I think I'd just like to make sure that it is going to come in this like Spanish style with earthy tones. It's not going to be bright and white and things like that. Some of the, not that they're ugly buildings, but some of in the presentation, they're just a little bit brighter. And I can't really think of the Sonic and everything else that's over there, but I'd like to make sure that you guys stick to that and do a good looking building with that Spanish style, earth tones, etc. So that's all. But thanks for the presentation, and back to chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, Commissioner Varun.
Good evening. Thank you for your presentation. Just to follow up what you mentioned here about the fundraisers and organization sponsorships, and you'd mentioned giving back to the community. So I wanted to explore that a little bit more. Since you've been at the Clinton Keith location, I'm guessing probably for about a year and a half or so, can you give me some examples or give us some examples as to what you've done so far with that one facility as far as giving back?
Absolutely. So with every car wash that we open, and this is the same story with the Clinton Keith project, we have a kickoff for a grand opening, which is 12 days of free car washing. The first thing that we do on that first day before we start that is we give away all of our car washes for that day for free, and we take donations, and we match dollar for dollar those donations for whether it's a charity or it's a family in need. So we search that out prior to that process. I can't remember, it was a while ago that we did the Clinton Keith. I can't remember the specific organization that we worked for with the Clinton Keith project. But we match dollar for dollar, and that's the first process. And then after the store opens and we go through that 12 days process, we work and diligently seek out schools and organizations to be able to fundraise for with two different fundraisers. We have a card fundraiser where they can go and sell cards to come to the car wash, or we have an on-site fundraiser where they come to the car wash and then we do the fundraiser on-site. Specifically with Clinton Keith, we've worked with the high school across the street, and then we've also worked with a organization, I believe, that serves those. It was a little closer to Moreno Valley, but it was a joint partnership between the two stores. Organization that serves those who are underserved when it comes to food, so passing out food. We also got the team members involved with that as well, and we are continuously seeking out opportunities to be able to do things like that, support the community.
So who picks the organizations? Are they, you mentioned some community one, which I appreciate, the schools, and then some other local stuff, or some national, or who makes the decision basically as to what, who you support and giving back to, quote unquote, the community? And is it more locally based and specific to Murrieta?
Yes. So all of those decisions are driven by the local leadership. So between the store leader and the regional leader of that specific store, they're the ones who really drive the organizations that we support and work with.
So is there some type of, I guess, how is that noticed? Because you say when you give back, I'm big on that, but
for sure,
you know, how is that kind of addressed with the community, or told that, hey, look, this year we gave X amount to this organization, this school, whatever it is, you know, to kind of keep up with what you're saying?
So that is mostly done on our marketing side. So our local marketing leader down in this area, her name is Shannon. She's not here today, but she keeps track of everything that we do as far as charitable giving back, because she's the one, after the organization has been identified, she works with that organization to get them all the information, tracks everything, makes sure everything is on track and everything is smooth to go. So she's the best person to have the information based off of that. But as far as the decisions, though, they're driven by the local site leadership.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that we can kind of, you know, hold you to that, you know, but when company comes in and say, hey, we give back to the community, I'd like to know, well, okay, what does that really mean? And then how is that checked and balanced and followed up with, you know, to say, you know, to verify that what you're saying is true, not that I don't distrust you or anything like that. It's just, we have a lot of places that come up and use that same terminology, so that's why I'm asking some questions.
Normally, we also talk to the planners and ask if there's a list of certain locations or, you know, community, and we actually take that to the company itself and work into that.
Okay, and then the other question I had kind of relates to the overall, you know, what seemingly the overabundance of car washes. In fact, there's one right next door attached to the Chevron station, right? And then was brought up how many we have within a short distance or geographical area there. So what market research have you done to determine, hey, yeah, there's a demand or a need? Because part of the, what Commissioner LaPaglia brought up with the conditional use permit? Is there a need for this? Is there a community need? Those type of things like that. So what is it that you've done to say, okay, yes, this can be sustaining here to add yet a 9th or a 10th car wash within a short?
Our physical analysis and market data is our driven report. Also, we have certain members from our other Murrieta Quick Quack car wash that are asking for a second Quick Quack to open in City of Murrieta.
So can you identify exactly what type of market
Oh,
parameters there, saying, hey, look, this is just some data, some numbers, so to give us an idea that, hey, look, our perception is there's a lot of car washes, and there really is, but there's a higher demand, and they're harder to get into, so
Right.
yet the local market can sustain more of them, or there's not. What market research can you share?
Yeah, I don't have that handy, but our regional realtor actually has those reports. I don't have that handy, but I'm not sure if, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I could speak anecdotally about the Clinton Keith location, so I get more specific to Quick Quack. So that location has grown tremendously fast. It's now upwards of 9,000 memberships. Average for the company is around 5,000 to 6,000. So just that footprint there and the members using local areas to be able to really fully get the breadth of their membership would need another location to be able to sustain that. So that it's grown, like I said, very quickly. 9,000 is not a number you typically hear in a less than 2-year-old store.
We're also different. I want to say we're also different. As you can see, it's a quick 3-minute through the showroom, which we call, tunnel showroom. We care for our community, and it's a quick, we're just different from the rest of the car washes.
I guess what I was looking for is maybe a metric of how long a time do people wait in line before they get their car washed? And where I'm going with this is maybe some stacking issues. As you can kind of see in that area there, is it going to cause stacking or not? I mean, we don't know. But based upon your other location, or how fast are you processing? Yes, it takes 3 minutes once you start to finish, right? But how long is the wait typically in the line, those type of things like that? And do you have a line kind of going out into the nearby Starbucks or the Farmer Boys or some of those neighboring businesses?
Yeah, actually, we don't. We have the license plate readers, which is a quick buy. We're not a QSR, quick service restaurant. We don't wait in a drive-through and, order, then wait again in another window, pay, and then wait and obtain our meal. It's nothing like that. It's basically, you get to the paying station, and we have a member that checks. But that's a quick checkup just to invite you in, welcome. And then we have the license plate reader quickly into the showroom, 3-minute, and that's that.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Harlan?
First off, hey, I appreciate your passion, and you both are outstanding ambassadors for the company, no doubt. Great stories, presentation. This is an impressive business model, what you guys shared. I think that's outstanding. You've certainly done your homework on your site, and to kind of tag on to what Mr. Vrooman said, we're putting a car wash, you're proposing to put a car wash next to a car wash across the street from a car wash with, 5 others, if I'm doing my math right, within a 2-mile stretch. So you folks are certainly sharp, your business, et cetera. I'm sure you guys have done your homework. As you stack up against those others, right, you touted some of the company things, as a consumer, right? So if I'm currently visiting one of those other 7, soon to be 8, and potentially 9, when I go to pull into Quick Quack, right, do you consider yourself as a premium pricing, compared to the rest of the street? Because I'm sure you've done your analysis, right? So going to you, is that going to be premium priced? Is it going to be equal to what rest of the market is? Are you a value play? What am I looking at with my wallet?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the rollover options, we're gonna be considered premium pricing, but versus the Express, so like Fast Five Express Superstar, we're right in line with them. But on top of that, you get premium service. So that's one of the things we do tout, and we're all dressed like this, so we take it as a premium service, but at the same pricing structure that you'll see the other Express washes at.
Sure, the cleaner knows whose ties are yours, right? And looking at the landscape and the layout, that all looked very nice. Maybe this is for the staff in the city. That landscaping strip, if we go from Old School Road, right, as you come around the corner there on Murrieta Hot Springs, right, you got Villa Way to pull into. From there all the way down to, oh gosh, past Margarita, oftentimes you can't even see a business tucked away in there. Those trees are grown up so much. Is that city property? Is that the tenant's property?
Thank you for that question, Commissioner. So with that, there's a multimodal easement that runs along Murrieta Hot Springs Road. It appears to be the frontage for the commercial center. However, that is indeed public property. There's vegetation there because there's a drainage easement that runs along there that's actually, that the initial developer had to obtain permits for because it's jurisdictional water. So what they did was they channeled a lot of the water that was flowing through the commercial site into that drainage path where you're seeing that dense vegetation that often blocks the buildings and structures and businesses within that commercial center. So what you're seeing from Murrieta Hot Springs Road, there's a 5-foot landscape strip that's actually the responsibility of whoever is developing on that frontage. That's the only space that they can put their landscaping in, whether that's trees or hedges or whatever they want to put. However, when you're driving on Murrieta Hot Springs Road, that is blocked by the vegetation that's growing because of that drainage channel. That's there, so I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, let me ask it this way. Is there any plans to perhaps trim some of that? Or are you guys, city, okay with the current state of what you see there? Have you driven down that street?
Yeah, I could speak to that a little bit. This is Dennis. With that, it is, as Farah mentioned, it's a channel that has vegetation that has, it's under regulation from wildlife agencies. So for you to go and trim that and clear out or anything like that, you would have to go work with the agencies to trim it or remove or anything like that. So it's a pretty heavy lifting effort to work those type of things out with them. And as Farah had mentioned, this is something that the developer of the shopping center kind of redesigned where the channel was going through the middle of the property, and they realigned it right along Murrieta Hot Springs Road as their kind of project design. So yeah, we're kind of stuck living with the situation that we have right now.
So that, what we're seeing now is just going to continue to grow?
That is correct.
Thank you, Commissioner Harlan. Couple of questions that I have is, do you stay in your car when you do this 3-minute ride through the tunnel?
You do.
You do. You don't get out of your car at all?
No.
Okay.
Unless you're vacuuming at the very end once you exit out, because we do have free vacuums.
Okay.
Throughout the tunnel, you stay in the car.
Let me see the access. If you could pull up the access from Margarita Road. I know there's that one stoplight there that you can come in from Murrieta Hot Springs. Then what are the other 2 entrance points that you could come into Quick Quack?
Give us one moment here while we load back my
Okay,
presentation
I'm
on the
sorry.
slide. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
I think competition is good. I was in the retail industry for over 50-some years, and competition is good. It makes you sharper. It makes you thrive to drive your excellence in customer service, and that's the way you improve and grow a business. No question about it. So I am in favor of competition as long as it is done with the integrity that you have as a company. I am sure that your mascot duck is a symbol for people to see coming down Murrieta Hot Springs Road. I would imagine. I don't know that for a fact, but I would imagine. I know when I go down Clinton Keith, I see that duck and I go quack, quack. I just go quack, quack, you know. You know, and my granddaughter goes, Grandpa, quack, quack. So I understand that. That also probably is a good marketing tool for the company.
Yes.
One of the things, and going back to Commissioner Varum, one of the things that might give you, from a marketing point of view, more exposure in the city of Murrieta is that you come to the city council meetings. You enter into the public comments, nothing on the agenda, and give an update as to how you're giving back to the community. Because those are televised. Those are on Facebook. They give you an awful lot of exposure in a marketing point of view. And I don't want to give you tips how to run your business, not my job, but it's something you might want to think of, because there's a lot of people that look at it online and come to the city council meetings. And to give back to the community is very, very important. And if you could give them a quarterly update as to how you're doing, or even a semi-annual update on Quick Quack here in Murrieta, now that you're going to have 2 locations, it may be a marketing tool that you may want to use to improve your business, or to at least get the recognition that you're out there, and it'll set you apart.
That is an amazing idea and duly noted.
Thank you. I want to ask a very interesting question. I don't think I've ever asked it before from the dais, but let's say you're a commissioner. This project's come in front of you. Why would you vote for it? You got all this competition. You got all those car washes down the street. We've had car wash after car wash after car wash coming up here. Why would you vote for that car wash if I was presenting Quick Quack to you?
Yeah, so I wouldn't, as a commissioner, I wouldn't be nervous about it, like you were talking about competition. Now, you're talking about going back to the 50s when you got McDonald's coming up right around the same time, San Bernardino, with other competitors and things like that, and to the landscape we're at today, where you see fast food all over the place, which they differentiate from each other. There's different practices, and people have brand loyalty to those things. So that wouldn't necessarily drive me away. That there's, when you look across the landscape, the express car wash industry is booming. Well, it's here and it's booming. And so when I look through that lens, I may look at the person who's coming to do it and say, if you have a car wash across the street from you, you might be a little cuckoo to move into that landscape, especially if that company is established. But I would not hold that to against that person that's applying for that. Especially if you're looking in the background of the company and what we were talking about, the changing lives and the impact it would have for the community, and then also the environmental impacts with the growing housing structures and different residential structures in this area specifically, which I can gladly speak to that because I just moved not too far from here in Winchester from LA. And you're looking at when people are washing cars in their driveways and things like that, that drives me nuts. But I look at all those things and say, okay, is this going to be positive for the immediate community? And with this project, I would say it is.
And thank you very much. I appreciate that. As I said, I think competition is good if you're sharp.
Yep.
And evidently you are presenting yourselves as a sharp operator. I guess giving back is important to this community in particular. And we have a lot of nonprofits in this community. You should get your marketing director to understand who those nonprofits are within this organization. There are several food banks, et cetera, that could be part of your giving back strategy, as Commissioner Varum mentioned, and have facts and specifics, not generalities.
Right.
It's very important when you're giving back that you say that you've given back XXX, and what is it XX that you've given back? I'm not here to preach, I'm sorry. But it's, to my heart is retail. It's my whole life, basically, building shopping centers, retail stores, different concepts, owning my own business, doing a lot of other things. So I understand that. And I understand the Quick Quack, the duck, is a driving point to your destination, because once the kids see the quack quack up there, they drive their parents to that location. So I mean, that's a competitive advantage, in my opinion, that you have. And you utilize it. Anyhow, I'm done with my questions at this point. What I would like to do now is go to our public testimony. If you want to have a rebuttal, you'd have a 10-minute rebuttal after the public comments, if that's necessary.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Thank you.
So next we'll move on to the public testimony. The time now is 7 o'clock and testimony is going to be open. Madam Secretary, do we have any public comments, starting with proponents, opponents, and then those neutral, in that order?
We have Mary. Would like to speak?
You step to the microphone and podium up here, please. State your name.
Hi.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Mary Arsanjani, and this is Jason. I'm Jason. We are the owners of the car wash directly next to this to-be or a conditional, where we're here today. So we want to talk about some of the adverse effects that you guys were questioning earlier. We currently have 25 car wash employees at our location, and while competition is good and helps us thrive, there's only so much demand. And I'm not sure how much we could assess the demand right now with 2 car washes that haven't even yet been opened in the same 3-mile vicinity.
Yes, correct.
So there's that. And then as far as giving back to the community, I can't speak for the other car washes, but I can speak for ours. We're very involved with giving back, and we can give the numbers, but we do Goodwill, we do Veterans Day with the veterans, Children's Hospital, the schools. So it's really great for all of us companies to give back to the community. So, but the adverse effects for us and the other, what is it, 9 or 8?
Yeah, this would be number 10.
10 car washes within 3 miles. There's only so many cars, there's only so many people. And so definitely it's going to affect our employees and the other employees of the other car washes.
May I ask the name of the car wash that you own?
It's Murrieta Auto Wash. It's with the AMPM.
Oh, with the AMPM?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, but I don't know if the other owners are receiving their notices timely, but we received ours. By the time we received it was like a week. So I'm not sure if there's enough time for people to actually learn about these hearings to attend, because I surely know the Chevron owner across the street from us would likely be here today if he could.
Appreciate it.
Is that Chevron dealer the McGuire's?
No, that's the ARCO. That's us.
Okay, got it.
And then the Chevron's directly across which is an express car wash.
Got it, thank you.
And then as far as the environmental, the water recycling, we have the same types of facilities, and most of the other car washes do as well. I think a lot of that is required. So, we care about our community. We change lives as well. And we just would like to know that we've been doing that since, you and I came in 2017. And during COVID, we kept all of our employees employed. So we've been through a lot together. And like I said, there's only so much demand. And I'm not sure how the market can really be assessed with the other 2 car washes not open yet. And you know, customers merely from another location saying, oh, I wish you had another location, doesn't really give us facts or statistics.
Okay, your time is up at this point.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Madam Secretary.
There's no more speakers.
No more public comments? So any rebuttal that's necessary from the applicant? And you have 10 minutes.
Okay, won't need that much, hopefully. Yes, I just want to make sure that we differentiate the types of car washes. So Quick Quack is an express tunnel car wash, which is different than an in-bay automatic or a rollover car wash. We found that when someone goes to a gas station, of course, for the convenience and those factors, you want to use something that's right there, right? And the pricing structure is great for that. The Quick Quack car wash and other express car wash customers are a different customer base entirely. It's a different service, and it is a destination service, so not being tied to a gas station or a Walmart or anything like that. It's a specific destination service, and it's a premium service. Like we said, it's going after a different customer base and different customer segment from when you're looking at express car washes versus in-bay automatics again, or rollover car washes. Two different things.
Okay.
Just want to make sure we differentiate the two.
Thank you very much. We will now close the public testimony at 7:05. And we'll bring it up here to the dais for discussion, debate. Any questions, concerns?
I guess the one question I brought up, and again, Mr. LaPaglia brought it up, and the wording is somewhat similar to like a PCN or a public convenience and necessity, you know, when we deal with, you know, alcohol sales and things like that. But the sentence in here says, this review shall determine whether the proposed use should be allowed by weighing the public need for and the benefit derived from the service against any adverse impacts it may cause. And so I guess I'm kind of looking like, what does that really mean in this incident? Let's just say for that other vacant parcel that's right at the corner there on the other side, where the pizza restaurant and the salon, let's just say another car wash wanted to go in there. So at what point in time do we get to say, gosh, that's too close, or, you know, that public need, basically? What's the legal threshold for us?
Well, one thing I would point out is I believe that the adverse conditions you're looking at are community-based, not individually business-based. So it's not really the Planning Commission's purview to get into the market economics of individual businesses and how this business might compete with that business. You may, if you have 4 or 5 of the same business in a particular area, have other impacts that are caused by that might be considered. It's unusual that for the first car wash meeting I've ever sat through where noise was never brought up at all. But that might be something that might happen after multiple are in an area, and that might affect things. So, you know, those types of environmental impacts and community-based impacts are generally what we're talking about here. It's been very unusual tonight, the dive into the market effects, which really are not the purview of planning in any way. That's what the market's for.
Well, and that's kind of what the answer I was thinking you would give.
Yeah. But it is possible that multiple of the same businesses in an area could have other types of impacts that should be analyzed and reviewed by this commission. So it's still fair to say that we are looking at whether this additional use cumulative with similar uses is going to have those adverse impacts. I'm just saying I don't think market economics is one of them.
I would also offer, from a planning perspective, this is a conditional use permit. If there's some type of compounding issue that occurs because there's too many car washes in one area, that's something the city can look at. They can look at each use permit for each car wash and analyze that if that becomes the case. And that could be something that comes out of, you know, the commission or the council directing to staff if there's a code enforcement issue. But yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah, I realize what you're saying. At some point, there's a tipping point, but it may not be, you know, where we're at in this discussion.
And we simply don't have any evidence of it, which is
Right.
the other point. I mean, we can think that it might have some impact that might be adverse, but nothing's been presented to us tonight, or we don't have anything to base that on. I think your fast food analogy is probably a really good one to consider, and the questions that come up with that, and the stacking, and what happens to the parking lot when that happens. Those are all very valid and typical planning concerns from having the same type of uses. You have an In-N-Out and a Chick-fil-A next door to each other, you're gonna have problems, right?
Right.
So, you know, that's the type of thing to consider when we're talking about multiple of the same use. But there's been nothing presented here tonight to discuss anything like that.
Yeah, and I would also offer that, I mean, typically, I said this before, but when we're talking about impacts, we're talking about CEQA impacts. This is a planning perspective. What do we have in the code, what's in the general plan, and what relates to CEQA? That's what's before us, not, you know, whether or not two restaurants decide to locate next to each other or two car washes.
Right.
That's really not for us to say.
Just out of curiosity, with the Sonic right next door, right there, and of course, they have kind of a drive up if you will. And then, of course, you have the exiting going out. Had they been consulted, or have they opined with the business as well?
We could ask staff to clarify that.
Staff doesn't personally do outreach for adjacent businesses. However, I do know that our applicant historically has reached out to Sonic in terms of exploring some shared parking agreement when they were exploring some alternative design to how they could fit their tunnel as well as the vacuum stations they were wanting. So they explored that avenue, so Sonic was aware that they were coming in.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I've got a couple folks in my neighborhood that are business owners here in Murrieta, Temecula, Lake Elsinore, Irvine, other places. And I think it's important. I think we, you know, as we pride ourselves with our city, right? And there's a lot of passion here, which is fantastic. I think with that comes a relationship with our business owners, as well as our residents, with all our stakeholders, right? And I think there's at least three pillars that should be part of that relationship that rolls around a good partnership, loyalty, and communication. So we heard here again from Mary and Jason that perhaps communication was missed with some of their neighbors, right? And now we've heard that in the past, right? So, you know, again, opportunity knocking, right, for something in the future here. And I think it needs to be more than cash and checks. I mean, I get free market. Are we telling Quick Quack here that, oh, by the way, you know, if somebody else goes out, we could potentially put another car wash next to you on the other side over there? I mean, I think that we need to be good business stewards with a community vision, right? As well as economically for our existing businesses, right? 25 plus employees over there, right? So we're talking about lives that are throughout here. And I think it's more than just bring me a check, right? If I set a McDonald's up somewhere, I'd like to have some kind of certainty that you're not going to put 6 Burger Kings all around me on each corner. I mean, there has to be some kind of partnership there. So that's all I want to. That's kind of what I'm saying there. Is I think with our business owners here, right? We need to improve communication. We've heard it again here tonight, and I think there needs to be some type of loyalty and partnership for us all to thrive. Because as our businesses do well, right? As you folks up there on Clinton Keith crush it. Those are amazing numbers. Because what you said, 9,000. And your average store is 2,500 to 5,000?
About 5 to 6,000.
Yeah. Right? So we want businesses to do well, but I think those are three areas that within the staff report and kind of what we countered about, I think we came up short. That's all I got.
Question I have now that I've thought about it, and our legal person brought it up. The noise study that was done for this location, being that restaurant is right next door to it, is that going to have an impact on that established restaurant?
Commissioner, I would caution about any new evidence when reopening public testimony if we're going to allow new testimony to come in beyond deliberation. It's okay, we just need to make that opportunity to any new public comment.
No more comments. I don't have any comment to make. Any other questions from the commissioners?
Nope, not for me.
Commissioner Vroom? Harlan? Is anybody ready to have a consensus to make a motion? I'll make the motion. And consider and approve the notice of exemption for an infill development, Class 32 infill exemption pursuant to California Code of Regulations, Title 14, Section 15332 of the Guidelines for Implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, see attached 4, and number 2, adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Murrieta approving Development Plan Permit 2021 to -2343, DP 2021-2343, and the conditional use permit 2021-2344, CUP 2021-2344 for a 3,589 square foot car wash facility with associated improvements located in a 1.0 acre site within the Margaritaville Shopping Center. APN 913-160-070, based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval in Exhibits A and B and the operations statement in Exhibit C. See Attachment 1. That's the motion. Do I hear a second? I don't hear a second at this point. So when we don't have a second for a motion,
Then the motion fails.
the motion fails. Then this motion fails.
Do we have another motion from the commission?
If there's an inclination to deny the CUP, there would be a motion to bring it back with a resolution as such, and but I don't recommend we take no action.
I think Quick Quack's outstanding business. I think we can all agree on that. I don't know that adding this car wash lines up with a public need or benefit for another car wash. I just don't see it in this location.
Well, can we get a second and then vote?
Well, is that a motion to bring back a resolution of denial?
I just made a motion, and there was no second.
Right, so that motion
Is nil and void.
correct. So I'm looking to see if there's a new motion to bring back a resolution of denial. I don't know what the other three are thinking.
So you're saying there obviously has to be like a resolution, so we have to propose like a resolution in the motion to come back.
No, staff will prepare a resolution and bring it back, just like there was a resolution for approval ready tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They'll bring back a resolution for denial, which you'll review, and then you'll vote on at that time.
Can you say that again?
They'll bring back a new resolution, new agendized resolution. That'll be a resolution of denial as opposite to the one that was brought to you tonight. And you'll vote at that time to approve that resolution or make any changes to it. Or you can make an alternate motion tonight to approve if you have changes that you want to approve, and then we'll bring back the new approval with whatever changes it are that you're looking for. And once that decision is made, that decision will be the appealable decision.
Sure.
I'd like to propose a motion for resolution for denial of this project.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Madam Secretary, could you take a vote, please?
Chair Fisher,
No.
Vice Chair Harlan.
Aye.
Commissioner Vrooman.
Aye.
Commissioner LaPaglia.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
No.
No, motion was it was 3-1.
3-1.
Chair Fisher voted no.
Motion carries 3-1.
Okay. All right.
Do we know when we'll bring it back?
So,
One moment.
Yeah, I don't have a specific date for staff to bring it back, but we'll discuss that internally and we'll bring it back.
planner comments?
Yeah, the planning commission has rendered its decision. The commission's decision tonight is appealable. Folks can approach city planner to discuss that, or may come to the planning counter within 10 days and we can discuss the options from tonight's hearing. Thank you. Sorry, it's not appealable. We'll be bringing it back, right? The item's still being considered, I'm sorry. The
Right.
item's still being considered. It's not appealable.
And if they vote to deny at the next meeting, that will be the appeal.
Sorry, I apologize to everybody. And so we'll have to bring it back, and then that decision will need to be considered. Thank you. That's it for city planner comments.
Any city attorney comments?
None, thank you.
Any planning commission comments at this time? Then with no further business, may I ask for consensus to adjourn the meeting? Consensus is gotten. The meeting is now adjourned at 7:20 PM.